Hello guys, so welcome back to the Crew Waldron. Driving all cars, part number 19. The Chevrolet Corvette Stingray, the C7 model. Quick interior look in the full stock car here. You can kinda see the numbers and dials, although it is a bit darkened, but it's not really completely ruined like some cars with the latest tunnel patch. It comes with a performance, drift and drag spec. This is the first car that we test that has more extreme specs than normal ones. Driving up to all the 1 mile drag for the acceleration test, as I always do it. 1 mile drag race, first checkpoint is the quarter mile, the second one is the half mile. With normal cars like this, I use 1 full nitro bar starting on the first checkpoint. And then we come up with a certain time, and then we can kinda compare with other times. This is a performance one, that means that the fastest we had here so far is the Aston Martin Vanquish with a time of 22.8. And the slowest one was 24.7 or 8 for one of the Cadillacs, if I'm not mistaken. So we sort of have a 2-second gap there between the best and the worst so far. 460 brake horsepower this one, so I don't know, we'll see. Going through the list again of 70 plus performance cars. Performance one a bit more slightly aggressive, more look, black rims on it, but that's all personal taste. I have original colors and original rims on all of my cars. Already mentioned that a few times. Or official, what is the name? Official rims and colors. This is an American car and they tend to wheel spin a lot because of lots of power and usually not as good handling. Seems to be kinda okay considering the wheel spin, although it wasn't that fast from the start, it seemed. Full nitro bar. Most cars do 340 here or something coming over the line. 336, 337 this one. Performance spec that is. And that also results slow start, not that high speed, 24.3. That is below average, if we can say that. Somewhere medium 23 seconds is the average, then this one is below average. So the acceleration is not that good. Maybe the handling or the top speed or something is. We'll give it a quick run over our little track here. Few braking points, some bumps, some jumps, twisty corner and S corner, all comes by in this little test here. Seems to response or reaction is pretty decent. Ooh, the brakes are not really that good apparently. Maybe I just outbrake, that's also a possibility. Bit of oversteer, kinda dives into the corner, so we've seen worse things happening here in that first corner there. Cars going out of the corner with understeer, not really the case with this one. Nope, really dives in, tends to oversteer. So you're gonna get into slides with this car, and that for time attacks and stuff like that, it's gonna cost you time. But it's kinda okay. To my own surprise, I must say, the handling is kinda okay. Last corner here. kinda slides toward the outside of the corner, but you can't really call it understeer. S corner coming up. Bit of a problem with the bump there. If you tap the brakes, you can throw it around, I think. You can sort of go it in an oversteer situation, which makes it easier to make that corner. First jump's kinda okay, meanwhile speed going up, so sort of a combination we do here. Second jump, two-wheel action. And the top speed, 393. That is not that superb for a performance spec. Some of them are doing 400 or more here on that section. I think I just outbrake myself in that first corner on this little test, because the brake seems to be okay in the end. Instant response from your input, so that's kinda okay. So the speed is not, well, high speed, top speed might be good if you have long straights, you might eventually end up there, but the acceleration is not that good. So acceleration speed sort of a minus, and a plus I should say that overall handling is kind of decent. So we have seen worse things here. But due to the slow acceleration, well, it's one of those cars again, a middle of the pack if you go for performance. Although this one will be a bit over the middle of the pack, a bit better, but it's definitely not one of the top performance cars. And that is the only car we kinda have to test in normal spec, because like I said, it has more extreme specs than normal ones. 1 versus 2 to be exact. The track spec. I even have the same color, I just noticed. Then my performance spec. I have been driving this in certain limited qualifiers where you could only use American cars or something. And in combination with a fast acceleration drag car, crew-wise, this is not that bad. But in a solo run it's a different story. The track practice, we are using the qualifier track from that will run from August 18th to 21st. So which means I have about 10 days to test all the drag cars here on this track before it disappears again. And that's why in the next videos, I already told it in the last one, the Camaro with the first drag spec, I will test all cars now that have a drag spec so that I can test them on this track. I hit the nitro at 6000 RPM in 4th gear this time, and I'm trying to go to make some sort of consistent runs here. Hitting the nitro at 6000 RPM, in the second run at 5500 RPM, and in the last run at 5000. And then see what the best time is that we can get out of it. Those 3 runs on this track. The Camaro did eventually, after 3 runs, the best time was a 22.470. That's sort of our first indication. And I know out of experience that the Camaro is sort of in the middle of the pack of drag cars. More below than on top though. But there are only 10 drag cars, and I think it's 7 or 8, something like that. And this will probably hang about there as well. The 5500 RPM run, let's call it that. $22,500. Bit faster than the previous one, if I'm not mistaken. Last run, I'm gonna try to hit the nitro around 5000 RPM. That's always the question, where do you hit the nitro? And this is a pretty long track, so the top speed won't be this high in this run, since I already hitting the nitro at 5000 RPM. You get a higher top speed the later you hit it, but on this run you get a higher speed, longer straight. If you hit the nitro later, you get a bit of higher top speed, but slows down after that. Now you have a constant 550 or something that we did. 22,595. 22.6, let's call it that, so that's a bit too early. So in this case the best run was the second one, where we hit the nitro at 5500 RPM. This car, I have tested all drag cars at one point, and this car is full grip. Why? Because, well, it was just the fastest I could get out of it was with full grip. I've tested all drag cars, full grip, full brakes, full acceleration and full speed, and then eventually came up with some sort of ranking with the best bonus. And I have the best bonuses on all of my drag cars at this moment. With the Camaro it was full grip, and with this one it's also full grip. So a 22,500 was our best result, and that is slower than the Camaro, which already isn't a good one. So no. Acceleration wise, which kind of matters in a drag spec, it's not that good. Top speed also not that superb. So the drag spec is not the best. Performance one also not really. And I am pretty sure that the drift spec will, well, you have a problem with gears here. There are a couple of drift specs which have 7 gears. They kind of have 7 gears from stock. So Ferrari 458 is one of them. McLaren 12C is one of them. And also this one is one of those. And that is a problem in drift. Because of the shorter gear ratio, you're constantly messing about with the gears. And you have no idea which one to put it. Some cars are pretty clear. You put it in second gear, you keep it in second gear the whole run, and you don't have a problem. You have very low speeds if you put this one in second gear, so not an option. Other cars like the Camaro, you can put that on pretty wide tracks. You can put it in third gear and keep it going third gear all the way. That's what I'm going to try to do here, but it still is a problem. The speeds are kinda low, so, and that is the problem with 7 gear drift cars. You're constantly thinking, no good, so you're gonna go down a gear, you're gonna go up a gear, and you're messing about and you're losing the controller and or the multiplier, and no, not gonna happen. So I'm just keeping it in third gear and see how far we can get with this. But because it has a shorter gear ratio, you're going to hit the limiter and a lower speed compared to a Camaro or an M5. This corner is, well, it's not gonna be, nope, too straight. Yep, lost the multiplier. So that is probably a second gear, so you have to switch gears here with this car. Had to go down to second gear there. Of course, drift cars, if you go for summit events, it all depends on the tracks. And also on the restrictions. Sometimes these qualifiers are limited to American cars or European cars like it is now. Now we have European qualifiers sorta, which means we can't even use this car, but this is an uphill section which is a bit of a problem in third gear, barely makes it. So probably had to go down to second gear there again, and then you get the downhill where you gonna hit the limiter and actually have to go to fourth gear. Hitting the limiter at 140 something, which is a bit of a problem. like I said, 7 gears drift cars is no good in this game, in my opinion. You constantly need to switch between third and fourth gear, and for cars even go down to second gear sometimes, which is a mess. It's already hard to get the car or keep the car drifting, keep the multiplier going, and then if you have to deal with shifting gear all the time, then you're going to be busy doing that, and you kind of lose control over the car and lose the multiplier. So maybe on a wider track this might work in third gear and you can keep it going, but yeah, well, if we compare it with the other specs, I still have to say that the best use is probably the drift spec on wide tracks. Not on a track that we just tested here, because that does not work. Then you constantly have to switch gears and no. But yeah, there has to be some sort of best use. You can have some fun with the performance spec, but you're not gonna win with them in races or time attacks, that's a problem. So you need, for best use I always come up with cars that well, can be used in summit events, and in this case I guess the best use will be the drift spec. It can be used on wider tracks with longer straights, keep it in third gear, maybe even fourth, and that will work. We'll see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.